All right, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It's August 11th. We had a surprisingly hot PPI, or Producer Price Index inflation report, coming out at 0.3% for the month of July for the month-over-month reading. The year-over-year reading was 0.8 versus 0.7% expected. Last month it was only 0.2, so pretty shocking to the upside. And the core PPI came in at 0.3 month over month versus 0.2%. Last month it was negative 0.1, so we're seeing deflation in the core PPI, but that has risen back up. And finally, let's see, core PPI year over year came in at 2.4 versus 2.3 expected. Last month it was 2.4, so that was actually flat. We're seeing kind of a slowdown in core PPI or core inflation, but we're seeing a rise back in regular inflation, which includes gas and food prices. Obviously, gas prices have been going pretty haywire over the past 6 weeks. So not too shocking to see core PPI kind of lagging behind, but markets are off to a rocky start. Let's see where SPY is at. Down 0.4% for SPY. NASDAQ seems like it's getting beaten based on the stocks that I watch. Down 0.8%, yeah. Getting rocked. The Dow Jones currently down by 0.25%, so not really shaking up too much. And then finally, your last one, the Russell 2000, I'd imagine is doing worse. Yeah, down 0.4%, so that's actually about what the S&P is doing right now. But big tech leading the downside, it seems. NVIDIA all the way down at 417. Pretty rough drop in the after-hour session. Amazon down to 138. No opportunities in these stocks, but I do see some in Google trading right in this range here. Right now at 129.15. Set the stop to 128.75, so we might be able to do like an at-the-money call. Netflix just ended up bouncing that range right there, so can't take that opportunity just yet, but 428.25 will be our entry. And then Tesla, this one actually would be our downside trade, it seems, today. Not sure how low it would go because we haven't really been too far below this. 241.32 is the lowest that we've been. So not really much to gauge on how far this could go, but these are the stocks I'm watching. And then GLD on the move again with the PPI coming down. A high PPI report means that the dollar is likely rising. Let's see the Dixie currently at 102.80, so crossing above yesterday's highs. And back into where we were before CPI yesterday. So not exactly the reaction I would have thought that we would have gotten for CPI, but bear market coming, it could be, but I think that we need to see more evidence of higher inflation for that. So all right, gold barely in the green, 0.06. Netflix at 429. Google. All right, so the first trade I want to take is going to be this Google. And we're probably just going to do an at the money Google. Again, our stop is going to be 128.25. Hopefully we can get in fairly quickly here. All right. I'm going to go with next week's expiration so we don't have to deal with the time decay if it trades flat. All right, 75 cents. The delta on this is 52 times 75 is $40 of risk that we're putting on. Trading at 200, so we'll cut losses at 160. They're already going up a little bit. All right, I'll take the extra risk and buy these higher. Again, stop loss is 160 for this trade. Might open another one because I did get a high entry. we'll pull that one up on the chart so we can keep a better eye on it. 129 called next week's expiration, not this one. Don't want to trade the 0 days. All right, they're trading at 202, 203, 204. I'm going to try to get a second one at 200. All right, yeah, snag that at 200 too. All right, so now my average cost 208 for 2 of them. And we'll try to spot some other opportunities in the meantime. Looks like Netflix coming down into this range here. Kind of liking that. And then Tesla was the other one that we wanted to short. That one's already going down pretty heavily though. So a little bit late for that opportunity. But let's see. Netflix right at 425. Stop would be at 424. About a $1 of delta. Oh, those are expensive as hell. The 425 for next week is going for 875. If we go with the 435, the delta drops to 33 only. It's not much to make out of it, but it's only $450. So trading at 426. Again, delta on this is 34, so I'd want to buy this at about 400 to like 420, somewhere in that range. Google's just kind of chilling here at 129. Not moving much in either direction just yet. All right, and Netflix coming back down. These contracts are going for 425. Again, I want to buy them probably at about 410 or maybe 415. So we'll wait. Let's check the other stocks in the meantime. Yeah, Netflix catching that support down at 425. A little bit above that. Okay. So for Google, we risked, or right now I guess, we're risking about 50 cents of downside. So we want to probably see this, I would say at least above the top of the range, 129.50. If we can get back to 129.75 or 130, probably take profit there. Contracts are going for 211, so we're up just slightly for them. All right, there's 129.40, up $30, 6% on the contract so far. Looks like Tesla's getting a rebound here too, to where we might be able to take a short opportunity. Probably want a low delta on this one, just because it is at the bottom of the range, on the edge of it. Tesla. So we would probably want to go with, I don't know, like a 230 next week, I would think. 240 put is $400-$500 for 40 delta. And you're risking, let's see, 245.5, trading at 242, 3.5 delta. So that would be a pretty sizable risk. If we go with the 230, 20 delta, so you're risking only $60 for that. That one I feel probably better in. Going back to Google, trading right at the top of our range, 129.50. Looks like Tesla just got rejected from the bottom of that range too, so no opportunity there yet. In the meantime, I think we want to take profit on the Google 129 call. Let's see. Goog. Yeah, just touched the top of that range and came right back. Already dropping those contracts. All right, selling them for 228. Oh, they already dropped. 222 or 220. I don't know why it keeps editing the number of contracts to just one when I have two. Making this contract damn near impossible to get out of. Yeah, I sold those at 210. It's not much out of it, but it looks like it got rejected pretty clean at the top of that range. In the meantime, let's check on Netflix touching the top of that range there. Again, if it's at the edge of the range, I usually like to use a lower delta out of the money option. 435 next week has a 37 delta. I would probably go with the 440, which only has a 30 delta. So you're risking, let's see, 427.50, 424 at most, $4 delta. That would be 120. So that's still pretty sizable risk. And these are still only going for 330. 330 minus the 90 would be, let's see, that would be 4 or 240 we would have to set our stop loss at. All right, they're dropping a little bit here. 427 now. Going for 315. Kind of want to wait to open them at 3, but don't know if we can get that opportunity out of it. 305. I'll put the entry in at 305. Looks like gold is going up a little bit. Lots of volume coming in. And Google's right back to 129. So we might try to re-enter that. Goog. Call from earlier. Going for 200 right now. 129. Okay, they're going for 2. 203. All right. Re-entered at 200. All right, and we're almost hitting our stop already here. Yep, there it is. Just tag the stop. No breakthrough yet. So I think the stop will be, we got him at 2. Stop will probably be just a little bit under 190. If we break that 128.75 low. Let's check on Netflix. See if we got filled for the call on that one. Yep, 1 at 305. Okay. We'll add that one onto the watch list too, or onto the screen. Netflix 440 next week. Going for 310. We got them at 305. All right, back to 205 for the Google contracts and 320 for the Netflix ones right now. Google contracts are back to 210. So we made back our risk so far. Netflix going back to the top of the range too. All right, I'm going to sell the Google contracts at 210 since we made back the risk. And we'll hold the Netflix contracts. We're going for 330. We bought them at 305. Looks like a pretty flat start to the day, though. For these couple of names, Google and Netflix, in these ranges, not breaking out yet. Amazon had a pretty high pop, but then dropped to a new low. But yeah, everything seems to be trending down pretty well. Really wish we got that Tesla put here. Gold's supposed to be going up with PPI. I would actually think that it would come down. You're seeing the dollar going up because inflation is higher than it was expected to be. So gold is likely to come down with that. Alright, here goes Netflix. Going a little bit lower. Contracts are trading at 290. Again, our stop is $3 lower with a 25 delta, so 75 minus 290 would be 230 or so, 220, 230. We got our first one at 305. Google's still trading around 129. Hardly any moves there. Hopefully we can get a recovery out of Tesla. Back to 242 to reshort, but that one looks like a lost opportunity. We're going to have the Michigan economic report coming out in 6 minutes. That'll give us kind of another inflation gauge, the inflation expectations for the next year and for the next 5 years from the Michigan Consumer Report. We'll pull up the economic calendar for that event. For today, and it's coming out at 10 a.m. Eastern. Alright, Google looks like it's going back up. Contracts are still trading for 210, so they really haven't gained much. Implied volatility seems to be coming down this blue line that you're seeing. What needs to happen for bulls to push the back up? Or most likely bear market is coming. In order for the bulls to try to take control, you need inflation to, well, if they wanted to take control today, they would have wanted to see a lower PPI. Yesterday, they got a lower CPI, which was very bullish for the market. The market's reacted very well to that. But today, with the surprise upside on PPI, the producer price index, that ended up sending things down. So you want to see cooler inflation readings first. That way, the Fed can kind of back off of their rate hikes that they've been pushing for the past 2 years. because right now they're looking to add another 25 basis points on top of what they've already done, going from 4.25 to 4.5% right now, up to 4.5 to 4.75. A lot of people are really worried about regional banks causing a mess, especially with their commercial real estate and all that. So what you want to see is the Fed kind of easing up on their rate policy rather than just continuing to increase rates month after month or however often they do their meetings. Looks like markets are kind of freezing up, but this Michigan economic report could kind of change it. Say if we get a lower 5-year inflation expectation, a lower 1-year inflation expectation, that could kind of relieve the market a little bit, because psychology does play a decent part in inflation. If people think prices are going to go up, they're going to buy things now, which adds to inflation. So you want to see these two coming in lower than expected at 3% for the 5-year and 3.8% for the 1-year inflation expectations. And then the rest of these, you want to see a positive surprise, consumer expectations, consumer sentiment, and current conditions. You want to see all of these coming in better than expected. And that would give the bulls the green light to send the market higher. In terms of fundamentals, in terms of the options market, let's see where people are going. If you're looking at SPY, today's expiration, you want to check volume and open interest. Looks like volume is more popular for puts right now for the 444 by about 14,000. So you want to see this going the other way to where calls are more popular, but right now it's not the case. You got 93,000 at the 443 strike price, so a lot of people buying that 443. And if you look the same amount out of the money for calls, there's only 33,000. So bulls aren't nearly as bullish as bears are bearish today for the options market, which is not a good sign. If we do continue to go lower, that 443 strike price would really kind of accelerate things to the downside. All right, looks like consumer sentiment is out. Bullish reaction so far. Back to the top for Netflix at 428. And reading through the report, 5-year inflation expectations came in lower. That's good. 1-year inflation expectations came in significantly lower, 3.3 versus 3.8. That's good. And you're seeing positive beat on current conditions, positive beat on consumer sentiment. Consumer expectations, on the other hand, did come in just slightly worse at 67.3 versus 68.1. So mostly a positive report besides expectations. So consumers feeling a little bit worrisome about the next year for the economy. Yeah, overall, I would say that's a good report. Markets should react positive to that. Looks like gold spiked on it. Yeah, that would have been a proper reaction to it. All right, Netflix over 428 now, breaking the top of the range. What we like to see. Unfortunately, I only got one of these contracts. I wanted to buy a second one at 290. Did not follow through with that. Contracts are going for 350 now. 370. I think I'll sell it for 365 or 370. Mm. They dropped it to 350 now. Okay. Well, looks like gold's GLD, I should say, is above 178, so that's positive. Google's blasting higher to almost 130. But it looks like Netflix starting to pull back from these opens and closes. All right, I'm gonna place my order for 360 or 350, $10. Ain't gonna make a huge dent. There we go. Out at 350 for that. Okay. Looks like Google is doing still pretty well though. Could have held on to those contracts. But those are the few trades I wanted to take today. Maybe we can get Tesla back to 243 for possible short entry. Nvidia cooked too this morning. Yeah, Nvidia got smashed overnight. Down to 414 at the low. Damn. And it was down really bad. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but it was like 4 or 5%. So Nvidia's been getting killed. Let's see. And they're going to have their earnings report in a couple weeks. So I wonder if this is just a sell-off in anticipation of earnings. All right. We're getting close to an entry on Tesla. Still a little bit too far to enter now. And from the bottom to the top of that range is $2.75, so basically 3 delta. Let's look for puts. Next week's expiration. Probably want to go out of the money to lower the delta value on it since it is almost 3 delta. Mm-hmm. 230 put next week has a 22 delta. So $60 risk. If we can enter at 242.75. So yeah, look at the 230 puts in next week's expiration. Going for 200 now, so stop would be how much higher? $4, 4.5. So it'd be like $90 lower. At like 115, 110. The lowest that they went this morning was 171. So yeah, that's our ideal entry, like at 170. Right now it's trading for 210, so too expensive. Too expensive to buy right now. Okay. Google's re-entering this range. We could take a low delta since it's at the top. Probably like a 131, 132 would be my guess for a lower delta. Oh, even that, it's pretty high. 133 you would want to go with. Only trading for 58 cents. Very cheap. And stop loss would be 175, almost $2 lower. $23 delta. I just don't like the delta to premium. Like you're getting a third of your premium as delta. They're trading for 60 and it has a 20 delta, so it's very high. But the lowest that they went this morning was 52 cents. So I'm not sure. It's strange. Maybe it's just so far out of the money that the time decay is really heavy on the contracts. That's also a possibility. So I don't think I want to take that one. How did the news affect me today? I'm actually pretty positive. Well, PPI didn't affect me positively. That actually sent gold down, so that's actually negatively impacted me. But the consumer report from Michigan actually was positive for me. I had a Netflix call right before the report, and I got out just above the top of this range at like 428.50. So that was good. And then the PPI producer price index negatively impacted me since gold came down. If we had the good consumer report and we didn't have that bad PPI report, I feel like gold would probably be at, or GLD would be at like 178.50, but got knocked back. So just waiting on this one. Not sure that it's going to recover. Let's check the calendar for next week if there's any kind of moving events for the dollar. We'll filter by U.S. data. You could also include other large banks, because if they're making interest rate decisions, that could affect the dollar. But let's see, core retail sales, that's kind of inflationary. Yeah, retail sales on Tuesday, we could hold it maybe. And then FOMC minutes on Wednesday. That'll be a decent high impact report. Just worried that we're too far out of the money for this gold call. I have 180, so it's well above where it's trading now. And I spent 60 cents on it, so my break even is 180.6. Lots to recover there. Could extend the expiration date maybe to like a month out to the September 3rd Friday. That might actually play out pretty well, but I'm sure that would cost a lot more. All right, here comes Tesla almost into our range. Just $1.30 away. Got stopped out on calls this morning. Yeah, isn't that the worst feeling whenever you get stopped out and then it recovers to positive? I had that happen to me the other day, and it was, I forget which stock it was, but those calls recovered to like, well, really well, to where I could have made a handsome profit. But I mean, the way that I think about it is, I honestly, at this point, I don't care whether I take a win or a loss on a trade. As long as I'm following my stop loss, that's a win for me, because previously just kind of held the contracts and sometimes it would go to zero. So for me, as long as I'm following my stop, a win or a loss doesn't matter. Although lately I've been on a very large winning streak, so I guess that's kind of easy to say. Yesterday, I think I was 5 for 5. The day before that was 3 for 4. The day before that, 3 for 4. And I think Monday was 3 for 3. So lots of wins this week have been adding up. But been abiding by my stop more strictly lately. And that's kind of helped to reduce my losses. Otherwise, I'll take like a fat $300, $500 loss when I could have only lost like $60, $80, something like that. So you really just gotta follow your stops and not give a shit whether you make money or lose money on a trade, because the reality is we don't know if we're gonna make money or lose money whenever we open it. It is almost entirely a guess which way the stock is gonna go. So you just kind of have to be indifferent about your trading. Mostly sticking to day trades using these levels. But if there is, say, an opportunity like GLD, I thought it was a good opportunity, then I will take a swing trade. If it's some sort of event, maybe an earnings report, and I'm somewhat confident in how the earnings report's going to go, or I'm confident in how CPI is going to come out like yesterday, then I will take a swing. But right now, I'm not very confident in the after hour, the pre-market session, because they've been a lot more volatile. lately it's been a lot more red. Before that, it was a lot more green in the after hours. But the moves in the after hours seem to be pretty sizable to where I don't want to hold a contract overnight unless there's some sort of event and I have some confidence in how that event is going to play out. So if I'm playing an event, then I will take a swing. But for the most part, I'm just kind of following the levels that I have and using that for day trades. Damn. These Google contracts aren't doing very hot, even with it going up as much as it is. They reached a high at, 67 cents, and they're only trading for 64 now, even though it is probably 10, 20 cents higher. So yeah, the time decay on these far out of the money options is not your friend. GLD seeing a nice pop, almost back to the morning highs at 178.40 from after the Michigan report. Went to 178.30. I'm going to set some alerts for the stocks that I'm watching. Google below 129.50 for a re-entry there, maybe. I would probably want it a little bit lower just so I don't have as much risk on the trade. But below 129.50, might re-enter that. Netflix, we want to see this. It's still in the range. So this one's just kind of having a flat day. It is kind of making a flag to the upside. But it's very, very flat. Volume does seem to be picking up, though, on this last 5-minute candle. So if we can re-enter this maybe at like 425.50, take on less risk for the trade with the stop at 424, that I'd be comfortable with. And then Tesla, I want to see this at 242.75 before we enter a put there, at or above 242.75. And until then, probably not going to take any trades until any of these hit. Tesla I would take to the downside. Let's see. You're risking about $3 of upside, so you want to see this probably at 240 again. For Netflix, I would want to enter at 425.50. Cut losses at 424, so you would want to see this at least $1.50 higher, which would be 427, which is trading above already right now. Probably 428 is where you would take profit. And then Google, probably too far away from hitting our entry, but would want to enter this at 129.50. Stop loss at 128.75, which was the morning low, which is $2 almost of delta. So you want to see at least $2 of upside to 131.50. That actually might not be a great opportunity. So that one I'll take off the list for right now. But yeah, Google and Tesla I would still want to watch today. But yeah, that's all the trades for today. I made, I think, $20 for Google. Let's see. and then 40 for Netflix, so $60. Not too much today, but still a profitable day. And that's all for me, and I'll catch y'all on Monday at 9:30. See everybody. Have a good day.